This is Solo P1. Welcome. This is the F1 Round 7 Imola GP race weekend review. So, I'm going to bring in my Coke, who's my partner in crime, Toto Abba.
Yeah, big up, man.
How's it going, bro?
Yeah, doing well, man. Doing well. Just to start things off, absolutely enjoyed the race. I reckon, it was a bit dead for 20, 25 laps, and then as soon as it...
How are you, though, bro?
I'm doing well, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. Carry on what you said about the race. Go ahead.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was a decent race towards the end. Only towards the end, though, because I think the majority of the race, it was a bit of a bland, of a bit of a soft purple patch. But I think as soon as it hit when the safety car hit, it was a lot of good racing, especially with the likes of Alex Albon, Leclerc, Lewis. But yeah, I reckon this weekend weren't the best weekend in the world. Again, this is probably one of the worst of the season, this race. You think about the whole race as a whole, it's probably one of the worst of the season. But towards the end of the race, it was really, really good. The last 12, 13 laps, when the safety car ended, it was really, really good. And I got to say, man, I absolutely enjoyed myself towards the end. But yeah, and highlights of the weekend. Aston Martin doing well, getting the new upgrades on, getting an absolute decent result. Williams as well. Every single race they're improving. Williams getting new upgrades in, and it seems like this track is good for them as well.
Yeah.
So the Williams was doing quite well this weekend, and also the Ferraris did well this weekend. They got the strategy right. The split strategy with Leclerc and Hamilton. Hamilton was one to go long because he's the master of saving tires, of time management. So they always put Lewis and
so I'm going to leave and come in right because I got a big delay with my camera. Carry on. We've got people watching. Carry on.
Yeah. But you can see that with Ferrari, they always put Lewis on the longer strategy because he's better at time managing, and Leclerc's more on the aggressive strategy where he overtakes stuff. So it was a good strategy from Ferrari. And another thing to take away from this weekend is that the hard tires.
Tell everything. Go.
That the hard tires was king.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
The hard tires, especially Ferrari, on the hard tires, they were gaining so much lap time. And somewhere this season, I don't know what Ralph, it was a couple of races ago now, that Lewis was on a good tyre, but then they flopped Lewis and put him on a worse tyre that he didn't like. This race, they didn't make that mistake. They kept Lewis on the tyre that he likes, and he prevailed in the end, didn't he? But of course, we'll get into more of that later.
Yeah, you're right. He prevailed. I think I agree with you what you said at the beginning. I think the race was boring. After when Max basically secured that first corner, it was basically over from there. And I just thought to myself, this track used to be. I don't want to come across negative. But this track used to be one of the best tracks. And I know there's been rumors that it might come to an end. This track, I hope it doesn't. But I remember, look, a few years, like say even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when they used to race here, when the cars were a lot smaller, it was a lot better to watch, because you could overtake. Now the cars have got more aerodynamics, so you obviously when you get in with the ground effect, when you get in the dirty air, basically it's over. When you get in the dirty air. But in the old days, 15 years ago, it wasn't like that. You could follow the car and you could overtake, and it was an entertaining race. But this weekend wasn't really an entertaining race. I thought the qualifying was good, which we'll get into in a minute. I thought the qualifying was good, but the actual race really wasn't really that good. I just thought it was a bit let down. Not just because Max won, it's the fact there was hardly any overtakes. But like you said, towards the end of the race, which I kind of tapped at because towards the end of the race, I kind of I was doing other stuff. I was doing a watch along with another game. And I wasn't really watching this because I just thought, yeah, Max is going to win anyway. We know how it is. If it was like another track like Silverstone or Spa, you know that the McLarens would have passed him. But with this track, it's very difficult to overtake. So my thoughts at the beginning is I thought it was boring. And but we'll talk about it in a minute. So you can do all you carry on with it because I'm just plugging this on. I need to get the stream ready.
Yeah. So I think in the qualifying, it was, I would say, interesting. I wouldn't say interesting, but we all know what the top three was going to be. It was either going to be McLaren's or or Max Pole. That's what I was predicting. I was predicting the Max Pole, not the win, but I was predicting the Max Pole. Yeah, going into Q1, Tsunoda.
What made you think that Max was going to get pole though? Because I never thought Max was going to get, but no, he didn't get pole.
No, I was going to say Max Pole because he's always floating around. He's always got a good qualifying pace compared to his race pace. That his car is more set for qualifying, in my opinion. Maybe I wouldn't say so much the race because most of the time in the race he has dirty air, and you don't really get to thrive in the race. But in the qualifying, he's got a good quality pace, and we saw this this season. Even though his car was third, fourth fast this year, he's still got pole because he's got good qualifying pace. Max has, that's his probably highlight of the season. His main, strength for the season is going to be his qualifying, and that's going to be vital in the championship. I'm not saying he's going to win the championship. He's so much point behind. Piastri's still championship leader, and he lost points today, which is stupid. We'll get into it when we get into the race. But yeah, I thought Max Pole because his main highlight is his qualifying pace. But yeah, going into Q1, Tsunoda crashed his car in a Red Bull.
What did you think when you saw that? Let's talk about that a bit.
I don't think when drivers go there, I'm talking generally now. I think when drivers go there, it's just cutthroat from Red Bull. It's a curse. It's just you have less chances of winning a title there or getting any kind of glory there. I think Perez is the closest one to it because Perez is a good driver. He was the closest one to have it with Max. At the end of the day, they will always prioritize Max with upgrades, with team orders, with everything. And even then, like when Tsunoda went now, I was thinking, yeah, it could be a different story, but it's exactly the same story. Yeah, of course, he's better than Liam Lawson. He's much better driver than Liam Lawson. He's getting higher in the positioning than Liam Lawson was. But Tsunoda won't like to finish 10th, 9th, 8th. He wants to finish podiums. That's why he wanted to go to Red Bull because he wanted to finish higher than the RB. I think Isack Hadjar finished in front of him today.
Yeah.
Former teammate. Finished in front of him.
Yeah, you're right.
So he must be thinking to himself that he should have stayed at the RB and maybe look for a Mercedes seat in the future or a Aston Martin seat in the future or a Williams seat in the future because Williams is on the up now.
Williams is definitely showing some speed.
And maybe Tsunoda could look for a Williams seat and probably not Mercedes. That Mercedes seat is locked. Anthony ain't going and Russell ain't going nowhere. Mercedes seat is locked. So Tsunoda could have maybe waited a couple more seasons, wait for that Williams option to show up, or Aston Martin, because Aston Martin, they got the money behind them in the day, and they could thrive in the new regulations. Williams as well on the up. Again, you might see the glory days of Williams come back in the new regulation. You don't know. Tsunoda should have waited, but now he could throw his career down the drain. You know what Red Bull's like. If a driver's not putting in the effort, you don't care if it's in their first season or their rookie. Look how quick they put out Liam Lawson because he weren't putting the performance in. A rookie, he weren't putting the performance in his first season, and he weren't good enough. And that's the quick cutthroat. Don't give people a chance.
You're right. You're totally right.
The only time I saw him give a chance is Alex Albon. But look, Alex Albon made the right decision. He left that dirt team, went to different teams, and now he's in with the Williams. He's stuck with the Williams, and now the Williams is thriving. So Tsunoda should have had a more tactical move because Tsunoda was doing good in the RB. He was doing really good in the RB. He was beating his teammate. Of course, the teammates having good battles. But he was beating his teammate. He beat his teammate year in, year out. He was doing really, really good in that RB car. So there was no really reason for the RB team to get rid of Tsunoda, really. But his option was to go to Red Bull, which was a really, really bad option. He should have waited it out and wait for a Williams seat to open up or Aston Martin seat to open up, because they're the two teams potentially in the future, because Alonso is going to stay with that Aston Martin team, right?
Yeah.
Maybe to set up the car. So maybe Tsunoda could have went to there in the future when Stroll goes or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but look, it is what it is, right? Look, we know how it goes when it goes to Red Bull. We know who they favor. We know how it goes regarding Red Bull. It's always going to be Max Verstappen, even that geek. Yeah, and I'm going to say geek, Mr. Harry Bowen, the commentator what was there this weekend. He was saying, we know what the second Red Bull, because you know he's a big Max Verstappen fan. You know that, don't you? You know, he's the biggest Max Verstappen fan, and he doesn't even hide it either. He's a commentator, and he doesn't even hide it, the geek, right? He's there, and he's talking about, Max Verstappen. He done one. I've got to admit, when the race started, it was a good overtake in the corner. But what was the first thing what came out of his mouth? Oh, that's the best overtake I've ever seen. One of the greatest of all time. Overtakes. Calm down. What about at the end of the race when Lando Norris overtook his teammate? There was nothing out of his mouth then. But at least, look, at the end of the day, we're not here to talk about Mr. Harry Bone, right? Mr. Harry Potter. We're here to talk about this weekend. And this weekend, it started off okay. Not so much for Ferrari. So look, we'll get into the weekend. In Q1, Lewis Hamilton was struggling with his tyres. Really struggling with his tyres. Every time we got round them bends, especially in turn 4, his tyres were... the grip on the tyres was absolutely horrible. And I think that's down to the grip. I think it's down to the grip why this was happening. And before we get into the review, guys, remember to smack the like button. This is the F1 2025 Emilia-Romagna Imola race weekend, and this is the debrief. Now you go ahead to Toto.
Again, Q1, Carlo Pinto crashing out, rookie driver. A little bit of a trend with these rookie drivers, really. They'll come in, and you see it from the early start of the season where a rookie driver comes in and all they did is just crash the car, spin, cause safety cars, cause VSCs, cause yellow flag, full cause whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to refer it to. It's a trend going on. Carlo Pinto, mate, he was a decent driver in F2, but Formula 1, it's completely different. You get found out in Formula 1 if you're good enough on that. There is good rookie drivers out there on the grid, like Ollie Behrman, Hadjar's good. Bortoletto's good, but there is a trend with these rookies and all that.
So Lewis Hamilton, he was onto Lewis Hamilton. He was struggling with them rear tyres in the twisty chicane. He came in for balance issues. He was talking to his engineer, so maybe it's the balance of the car, because usually if the balance is wrong of the car, if it's not perfect, the rear end will bottle out. And it was doing it with not with just Lewis Hamilton. It was doing it with Charles Leclerc as well. So for all them people who are saying that Lewis Hamilton doesn't know how to drive the Ferrari, that the Ferrari car is crap because of Lewis Hamilton, if you watch qualifying, they both got knocked out in Q2. So there you go. So there goes that theory. Tsunoda did have a horrible crash. I felt sorry for him. It looked like when he twisted, he hit the lamppost as well. But the first thing he said I was fine. And look, us as racing fans and people that do reviews and we talk about the cars, we do not want anyone to get hurt. It doesn't matter if it's Max Verstappen or anyone like that. If someone's in a car, we don't wish that on anybody on this channel. We do reviews, we do the banter, but we do not wish death or hurt on nobody, because that's not the way we roll on this channel. This is from Waniak. Every second driver is down shadowed by Max, apart from Ricardo, because that's all they care about is Max Verstappen. They do everything for Max Verstappen. Basically, the second driver is a test dummy. I don't mean literally that Tsunoda's a dummy. I'm just saying he's a test dummy. He's the tester. Also, Waniak said, I feel sorry for Hamilton and Leclerc. They are being shafted by Ferrari, of course. I don't know about shafted by Ferrari. It's the fact they need to get their the need. Maybe it's the back. Maybe it's the engineers that don't understand the cars. Maybe they need to clear out. Yeah, they need to clear out. So basically, Tsunoda, he had a horrible crash in turn 6. It was the Villeneuve chicane. It was basically the part where if you go and watch some of the old races on the internet, you see where Thingy crashed, where Ayrton Senna crashed. When the old Imola circuit used to go lights out the way we go, and it used to be one big straight all the way down. There was no chicane, there was no twisted bits, there was no gravel. It used to go one big straight down, and turn 1, and there was just like a little turn, and a lot of people used to crash there, and that's where Ayrton Senna crashed. But what they did, as soon as Ayrton Senna crashed, what they did was they made a one straight, they put a chicane there. They called it the Villeneuve chicane, where they got the gravel. That was designed to slow the cars down. So when they go around that chicane and they go ahead to turn 1, they're not going there with going over 100 miles per hour. They're going at a decent speed, where if they do crash, there's still gravel there as well, and they made it a bit bigger. This is where Tsunoda crashed. And yeah, it was a horrible crash, and he was fine. So that was good. Colapinto, he had a 1-place group penalty for going out the pit lane under the flag. So when the flag come out, I think it was Tsunoda, when Tsunoda crashed, where he had the yellow flag, Colapinto went out of the out of the pit, which he shouldn't have, under a yellow card. So he got a 1-place group penalty. I think George Russell had something similar before, a few weeks ago. And yeah. So that was it really for that one. That was during Q1. Q1 kind of lasted a little bit long because of the crash with Tsunoda, and after that there was like a lot of rookies. There was rookies crashing as well. There was a lot of rookies crashed over the weekend during the practice and qualifying. It makes you think, innit? If you go back years ago, Toto, I think the rookies were better a few years ago. I don't know about
like Russell, Norris, Albon. They are good rookies. The 3 of them were really good from F2. They consistently performed on F2. George Russell in the art car, I remember.
Yeah.
It was 3 good rookies, and look at him now. Russell doing well in the Mercedes. Because when rookies come in, you've got to look at the long term. Will they be in Formula One the next 2-3 years, or the next 3-4 years? The ones that are there in the next 3-4 years are usually the good enough ones. Like, look at Russell for an example, performing. Yeah. Albon. Look at Albon. Albon has fixed his career up by going to Red Bull. Red Bull didn't want him. Now in the Williams, stuck with Williams, and now he's doing really well in the Williams. Norris, potentially going for the championship. So yeah, of course, the past rookies were better than these ones, but these ones are also good. You got a few good ones there. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, the other ones are much better, different level, I'll say.
So yeah, that was Q1. So Q1 finally got addressed. Q2, Hamilton comes out first again. Because remember, in qualifying 1, Hamilton came out the pits first, and to try and get a feel of the car, basically, because it was clearly struggling. I know there's been certain weekends where Charles Leclerc has had a decent weekend, but the only time I ever saw Lewis have that good weekend is that time when they had the sprint weekend, where he won everything, and then they found out the car was overweight and they took all the points off him. And it was a shame, because that was the first win for Ferrari, and the FIA took it away from him. And like we saw that before, you get it 2021. So Hamilton comes out first, still struggling with that rear tyre, still struggling with the balance issues. They just can't get on top of this car. And that was it, really. Nothing major happened in Q2. At the end of Q2, is Piastri, Norris, Verstappen topped the charts. So Norris was in there. Verstappen was hanging in there as well. But Piastri was clearly the fastest. And he was my pick, really, for the weekend to win everything. But as we go on to the story, he never planned out that way. So BMN came out in Q2. Because he thought he qualified, but BMN never got his lap in. Basically, at the end of Q1, when you just got to pass the line before the seconds drop, he didn't pass the line in time. and he came out in Q2, and they told him, "No, you're not in Q2. You're out." So they made him come out, do a lap in Q2 for him to tell him, "No, you're out. You didn't pass the line in time." So I thought, look, the FIA say that the stewards, they need to get on top of these things. They've got to be more transparent. You get me? They have to be more transparent with these decisions, because if the guy didn't pass the line, why is he coming out in Q2? And why isn't the information filtering down to the team? I just don't understand why they take so long. We see it in football as well. When someone scores, they're there for 5 minutes on a football pitch, trying to find out the information, what happened. They've got the computers. Sorry, Toto. They've got the computers. Everything's in front of them. They shouldn't take that long. I felt sorry for Beerman, because I thought Beerman's a good driver, but he came out. He got knocked out in Q1.
No, surprisingly, because Beerman, of course, Haas is not the best car. Beerman usually gets into Q2. But yeah, you're right about FIA decisions. Like VAR, for an example. Players can't even celebrate, really. They celebrate, and then when they celebrate, you can see him literally looking over either to the offside flag or to the ref to see what he said, because he's really incompetent. Like the FIA is incompetent. They either do it after the race or they do it late notice. Like I know forward and onto the race. There's only one part of the race. What is it again? Where Leclerc and Albon was in a battle going into turn one. Leclerc and
the first turn, yeah. Where is that? The chicane?
Yeah, towards the end.
That's the Villeneuve chicane, yeah. Or the Villeneuve chicane.
And that's the chicane. They were both going in side by side. Leclerc was ahead, yeah, and Albon went to the outside. They tried to take him over on the outside, and it was Leclerc's corner, by the way. It was Leclerc's corner, and then what he did, Leclerc went wide.
What are you talking about now?
No, towards the end of the race.
No, I'm not talking. I'm on qualifying.
Okay.
All right. I'm doing qualifying.
No.
So at the end, so basically, Beerman got that penalty, because basically end of Q1, the crash from Tsunoda that triggered the safety car, and he couldn't get the lap in at the end. But they didn't tell him till Q2. He should have come out and done a lap. So basically, it was out. So Max comes out and tops the charts in the first stint of Q3. We're on Q3 now. So Max Verstappen tops the charts. He's showing speed now. The key with this track is with Imola. If you get pole, you've basically won. It's a bit like Monaco. It shouldn't be like that, but that's the way it is. It's a shame, because 15 years ago, this track was probably one of the best on the calendar, and because of the ground effect and where it is with the aerodynamics, when you the only thing with these cars, when you follow the other car, you're getting the dirty air. It's over. And the dirty air gets to the car, then it overheats, then you got to back off. You just and you get a lot of oversteer as well, so you can't really do anything. So basically, at the end of Q3, Max Verstappen gets a pole. Russell, Verstappen, Figgy gets pole. Max Verstappen gets pole. Piastri gets 2, and I think Lando gets 3 as well. No, Lando gets 4. Russell gets 3rd. So it's Max Verstappen, Piastri, Russell, and Lando. So what was your thoughts at the end when you saw Max Verstappen get pole? Because you said that, but you thought Max was going to get pole, innit?
Max haven't got pole.
No, I think he got pole. Max got pole.
Piastri
Max got pole.
Piastri got pole.
No, was it Piastri? I thought he got pole, didn't he?
No, Piastri got the pole.
Yeah, so what do you think of him getting pole?
No, it was good.
Yeah, sorry. Piastri got pole. I think he got 2nd. Max got 2nd, and 3rd was Russell. Go.
Yeah, it was good for Piastri. You can see the pace of McLaren's this weekend. That Piastri's got the better of the car this weekend, in the qualifying especially, and he's potentially putting himself for a bag of points here, for a potential win in the race. So yeah, giving himself the advantage. But if you think about it, first place to the first corner, I wouldn't say it's a very, very short distance if you starting from first. And plus in the first corner, there's a lot of carnage going on. So getting pole here is vital. You don't want to get caught up in that carnage. So Piastri put himself in the better position.
So, okay. Let's go on to the race day. You go ahead. I'll let you go with the race day.
So yeah, lap 1. It was a really good battle from Piastri and Verstappen going into turn 1. And it was a good overtake from Verstappen as well. I gotta admit, going on the outside, and that was the trend for the race, going on the outside. Then that outside turned into an inside line. But yeah, it was great from Verstappen. You gotta say, you gotta give credit where credit's due. No contact whatsoever. Gave each other the cars width. Wheel to wheel racing. It was a great race from turn 1, and Verstappen went on to take the lead. And you know what it is with this track, once you're in the lead, it's a very hard track to overtake on. So yeah, that what happened in lap 1. Lap 7, Hamilton was happy with the tyres. Hamilton was really happy with the tyres, especially the hard tyres, because he was on a long strategy. He was on the one stopper.
Yeah.
So Lewis was doing really well.
That was a good strategy, I think, for Lewis Hamilton. The hard tyres.
Ferrari got the strategy right this time.
Finally,
finally, because all season Ferrari can really get the strategy right. And one time they bottled Lewis on the strategy. He was on good tyres, and then the other stint he was on the on the worst tyres, and the Hamilton wasn't really used to it. But this time they kept Lewis on the good strategy and the tyres that he actually liked, and he managed them tyres really well. Lewis did. Then Norris having a battle with George Russell.
That was on lap 11. Lap 11.
It was a great battle from Norris and Russell. Norris taking the good line, not taking too long to get past Russell. Like in previous races to overtake. It was quick to overtake, got the move done, because that McLaren, I'm sorry, doesn't want to stick behind the car in that dirty air, because it will slow you down. And it will, wear a lot of tyres, because of course you all know, you're behind someone in dirty air, your tyres will wear, your car will overheat. You don't want that, really. It will just drop your pace. Norris got the move done really quickly. And then Piastri was thinking about McLaren was thinking about plan A, because their main strategy was plan A, and plan A was I think it was to go long.
Toto, before you go further, what do you think of the I know you're going to come into it now. What do you think of the boxing? You think they should have left, if the pitting, you think they should have left Oscar Piastri about a bit longer?
Yeah, maybe.
I think they brought him in a bit too early.
I reckon it did, but again, Piastri was moaning about the medium tyres. They're thinking about going longer than medium tyres, and Piastri said on the radio that was his ambitious. When he said plan A is ambitious. McLaren was recommended plan A, and he didn't like them tyres. Piastri never. He was losing a bit of time, losing time to Verstappen every single lap. 10th there, 2 tenths there. Every single lap he was losing time to Max. And I reckon, it was a bit too early. But I reckon it was the right decision from Piastri's hand, because Piastri didn't like them tyres. He was losing pace. And the medium tyres weren't good for him, because he was losing time and tyre wear and all that. Because the hard tyres was the best tyre in this race. It was the best to start with. Yeah,
I think the best for qualifying was medium, though.
Yeah, because Aston Martin did gamble on the mediums, and they made it free. They got 5th and 6th, actually.
Yeah.
So the two
big up.
Plus some new upgrades as well.
Yeah.
That was good for Aston Martin, the qualifying.
So let's go back to the thing, Oscar Piastri. So the box at lap 14, and there was a bit of a problem, and I think it was the front jack. There was a bit of a problem, and the delay was a 3.6 seconds. And I think if Oscar had any chance of winning the race, which I doubt it, but after that delay in the pits, I think it was over then.
The thing is, it would have, considering the virtual safety car, it would have been better for Piastri to stay out, because Verstappen had after that pit stop, the slow pit stop, Verstappen had a 32-second gap to Piastri. Yeah. And that is a free pit stop. 32 seconds, you can come out the pit 6-7 seconds ahead, or even 4 seconds ahead. Verstappen had a free pit stop there to Piastri, so that's why Verstappen went long. Verstappen went long because he knew, okay, what is the point of pitting when we've got so much seconds to spare to Piastri? Because Piastri was challenging for the lead at that point. Yeah, Norris was there as well, but Piastri was the one who pitted first before Norris. So Verstappen, Norris, his race weren't with Verstappen at that point. It was with Piastri. So it was good. It was good for Verstappen to stay out more and get more laps in. So by the time he pits in, he will have more fresher tyres than Piastri. Yeah. And he will have a much bigger advantage. So yeah, McLaren unfortunately messed themselves up because at the end of the day, if Piastri would have got that pit stop right, Verstappen would have been forced to pit earlier because the others to pit in, and then Piastri would get closer and closer, and Verstappen will have to pit. Because by then it was lap 14 and the virtual safety car came on lap 29. Yeah. So if they wouldn't have messed up in the pits and they would have got a good pit, at least 2.6 seconds, something like that, 2.7 in the 2-second range. Yeah. Verstappen would have been forced to pit. Maybe.
Exactly.
Been forced to pit.
Facts.
Since it took too long, it was 32 second free pit stop for Verstappen, and Verstappen just went long and long and long. But safety car came out, played right into his hands.
Yeah, and the race was over. I think the race was over. I think the race was over in the first corner, and when Max Verstappen dive bombed him and he paid off. Because obviously, like I said, if this was another track, if it was like Silverstone, if it was like Spa, or even like Imola, not Imola, or just pick another run track, say even Miami, right? We wish we saw 2 weeks ago in Miami. We know how fast that McLaren car is. If it was any of them tracks, we know that the McLarens would have overtook him through the race. But because it's Imola, it's very hard to overtake. If you look at the stats down the road, you can put them on X-Lay if you want to. There weren't many overtakes in this race. There was about 7 overtakes, and for a Grand Prix race for over 40-odd laps, that's terrible. That is terrible. And you'll see when we go to not the next one. The next one's going to be Monaco, the one after, even Austria. Austria you can overtake. You get me? You can overtake in Austria, and you'll see when we go to Austria how fast the McLaren is again. You'll see even if Max gets pole position, we know because of the McLaren cars that fast. No problem. Couple of laps like we're past here, no problem. But with Imola, it's like Monaco. The whole point is when you get in front, you stay in front because you know the man behind you. Once he gets in your dirty air, he ain't passing nothing. You get me? So go ahead. You can go to the next one because after this I'll start watching it.
Yeah, of course. Virtual safety car came out and Leclerc.
What lap run now?
Lap 29.
Yeah, go ahead.
The virtual safety car for Ocon having if it was engine failure or whatever, it was to the side of the track. I'm surprised it weren't a safety car because it was right on the side of the track where the drivers go past. So it could have been dangerous, but it was virtual safety car, so everyone went at a slow pace anyway, half race speed in it.
Yeah.
And then it really benefited Albon and Isack Hadjar. Fifth, and I think Hadjar was 4th and Albon was 5th.
Yeah.
They both went on to fresh, hard tyres, and that allowed them to be on more fresher tyres on the virtual safety car and allowed them to keep their position. Leclerc, unfortunately for Leclerc, he was more on the radio when the virtual safety car really, really was unbeneficial for him. It was not good for him. Leclerc, he got unlucky with the virtual safety car. Just like last race as well, very ironic. Got done with the virtual safety car because Leclerc was on a charge. Then soon the virtual safety car comes out, everyone gets a pit stop.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Some of them get a cheap free pit stop and stay in their positions, and they will be on fresh tyres in the day. Yeah, if Leclerc pitted in, he will lose track position. So Leclerc was in a sticky situation here. He didn't want to lose track position, plus he didn't want to be on old tyres, because old tyres, of course, you're going to be slower, aren't you? And it's going to cost you a lot of track position during the end of the race. McLaren, lap 31, McLaren weren't really good with the pit stops today, weren't they?
Yeah.
Always slow.
They were slow with Piastri and slow with Finger. There was always about a 2-3 second delay. No good.
Piastri pit for hards. and 3.1 seconds, which is 3.3 seconds actually. It's a slow stop. And Isack Hadjar nearly passed him in track position. Luckily, Piastri got ahead, but he was at so much risk and he lost so much time on that virtual safety car. It is unbelievable how many times he lost. He lost so much time on that virtual safety car. More time for Max to salvage him, because Verstappen got a free pit stop anyway. So what makes it even worse is that McLaren has a slow stop and then more seconds again added on.
It is what it is. Look, it is what it is. We know how it goes. We know. Look, we got you got anything to say anymore? Because I didn't really do no notes about anything left.
So lap 36. You know, Lewis, he's my driver of the day.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, you can either say Leclerc or Hamilton for driver of the day. Them two were exceptional today. Absolutely exceptional. Lewis is exceptional, finishing fourth place. You know, absolutely amazing by Max Hamilton, and he's only 9/10 behind Piastri at the end. 9/10 behind Piastri. He was so close. He's only a second behind Piastri. That he could have got. Hamilton was in a spot to get a podium. I think if it weren't for them virtual safety car craps, and it was only a full safety car, I reckon if he would have got past him a bit earlier, Hamilton would have definitely got a podium. Definitely. That car was quick today, and it was quicker than Piastri's car as well, which surprisingly than McLaren. You know, of course, Piastri and old tyres, considering the old tyres, you can't just say, oh yeah, Ferrari was the fastest car. You got to include context as well. That Piastri was on old tyres, and Lewis was thriving on them old tyres. He was gaining, but fortunately, he was only 1.1 seconds off, I think. But Lewis had an amazing race, thriving on the split strategy. Passing Hadjar for 5th place.
Savage.
Good. And then lap 38, Leclerc finally going past Antonelli. The split strategy was working for, like I said at the start of the video, where Lewis was the one going long and Leclerc was more than one on the aggressive strategy. Starting to stuff the tyre, go long towards the end. That worked for both drivers as well. Lap 47, again, slow stop by Norris. 5-second pit stop, and then he lost position to Piastri. Absolutely diabolical from McLaren. Norris should have potentially got this win today, I reckon. But again, it was the McLaren slow pit stops which allowed.
I don't know. I think I'm going to disagree with you on this one.
Piastri was on old tyres.
No, I'll disagree with you on this one. I think McLaren made a mistake, in my opinion. I think that towards the end of the race, when Lando Norris was saying, no, don't think we should swap over the cars, I don't agree with it. I think they've done the right thing. At the end of the day, Oscar is leading the championship. He's the guy at the moment. No, but I'm talking, towards the end of the race. Yeah. You remember when I was telling them to swap the cars?
Yeah.
Go on, what are you talking about then? Go on ahead.
No, I know what you're saying, but I was talking about that. If Norris didn't get done over in the pit lane, he probably could have stayed ahead.
Yeah, but he did
Piastri, though. No, Norris never stayed ahead. Piastri went past him.
Yeah, exactly. So we went past him. So that's it. If I agree, if Lando Norris, I agree. If Lando Norris would have went into the pits and it wouldn't have got a delay, and he would have came out and it would have been in front of Oscar Piastri, I would have said, fair enough. Lando stays in front. But the fact is, the team, the engineers, the strategy, or whoever was doing the pit, right? Maybe the guy on the pit lane, had too many sausage sandwiches last night, and he was and he couldn't concentrate. I don't know. Maybe he had a few drinks last night, and it was a bit of a delay, or maybe he didn't take his paracetamol in the morning, or maybe he didn't drink enough water that day. I don't know, but something happened. The rear tire got stuck, or the front jack, whatever it was. It cost Lando Norris time. But what I'm trying to say is, once that happened and Oscar Piastri was in front, you don't swap the cars over. Because as I see, it's not Oscar's fault that Lando's engineers messed up. It's not his fault. So I think when Lando Norris was saying, look, let me overtake, I thought it was a mistake. Because all what you've done is you've took points off Oscar Piastri. Because Oscar Piastri is in front at the moment, and we're going to bring up the points in a minute, the driver's title, And I would have just kept Thingy in front. I would have kept Oscar Piastri in front. because he is the leading guy. He's the guy at the moment. And why would you want to take points off him? You took 3 points off him, which you didn't need to. That's all I'm saying. But go ahead.
That is true. But we carry on the race. Lap 57, it was Lewis overtaking Russell for 6th place, was after the safety car. So Lewis did lose a bit of position on the safety car, but again, he was on fresher tyres. He was on 3-lap young tyres, 3-lap old tyres, if you want to say old or young, whatever. 3-lap old tyres are basically young tyres. So 3-lap old tyres for Lewis, passing Russell, his former teammate. But he had a little smile on his face, even though probably respect from the two drivers. Lewis having a good race. He must have been happy, man, Lewis, overtaking Russell. And then Norris. It was a good overtake from Norris to Piastri. Norris overtook Piastri. It was a good overtake from Norris, but a very stupid overtake because end of the day, Piastri was ahead. They should have just kept the positions. Unless Norris was losing, unless the driver behind Norris was gaining on Norris, they should have just kept the positions. Lap 60, Leclerc, Albon going into turn 1. Then Albon running out of road. It was a really good battle going into turn 1. Lap 60, Leclerc, Albon side by side. I don't understand why Leclerc needs to get the position back. I reckon I would have kept there, but again, I don't know why there was an investigation for it by the FIA. Incompetent FIA, don't know what race it is. Probably haven't even drove before in a race. Even in a kart, probably haven't even drove karts before. Don't know the rules. Of course, I know they've got the rule book, but we know what the FIA is like. Leclerc, it was Leclerc's corner. They
know the rules. They know the rules, but they like to break. Hold on. They know the rules, but they like to break them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Of course, Leclerc was first to the apex, and Albon was round the outside.
Yeah.
So he was nowhere near the apex. No one first to the apex. Leclerc into the second apex was ahead. Then Albon ran out of road, so he had to go over the gravel.
Yeah.
He had to go over the sand pit, right? And I'm thinking to myself, that's fair. No contact. It was Leclerc's corner. He was ahead on all 2 apexes. What is there to investigate? And of course, Leclerc lost 2 positions to Lewis and Albon, but I'm considering this one. Albon went off. Hamilton saw his opportunity, got right up to Albon, took Albon over and onto Leclerc, and it was great. That was experience from Lewis coming in, capitalising on people's mistakes. It's not just about the experience. That's just common. Yeah, you got to capitalise on people's mistakes. You got to take everything you can get, and every point you can bag. You have to bag it. Lewis as well, up behind Leclerc, lap 61. What a move by Leclerc, not by Leclerc, by Lewis going around the outside. Then that turned into an inside, and it was absolutely amazing. Great race from Lewis, and I think that's the end of it, man. There was no really action towards the end.
Yeah, it was absolutely good at the end.
You know what? Lewis is my driver for the day. If you want to you can give it to Leclerc, you can give it to Leclerc. Leclerc had a good race as well, but it was really unlucky for him to lose in 2 positions. To me, I don't think he should have been under investigation. I don't think the FIA should have even looked at it. It should have been a racing incident, move on. But of course, FIA wants to be controversial and have that bad rep on themselves and, get the media talking and that. You know what the FIA is like. But yeah, Lewis, absolutely amazing race. 4th in the Ferrari. Hats off to him, man. Hats off to him. Had absolutely diabolical practice sessions. He wasn't really finding the car in the practice sessions. Qualifying, not really finding the car. He went from 11th place to 4th. That there, yeah, is an absolutely amazing race. 11th place to 4th from Lewis. And of course, you got to mention Leclerc. I think Leclerc started from 12th. No, Leclerc started from 12th, and I think Leclerc started from 11th and Lewis from 12th. Leclerc went from 11th to 6th, and Lewis went from 12th to 4th. Absolutely amazing race for Lewis.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. It was good. I thought the weekend was not that good for me. Qualifying was okay.
No, weekend was terrible.
Qualifying was okay. Race was terrible. So the last 20 minutes. And so
now Lewis still has it. He just needs a good car. Wonder.
He's not winning nothing this year. We're gonna bring.
Not this year. Not this year. No.
We know we know that's all he needs. So we're gonna bring up the driver's standing. Here we go. This is the driving standing. We got Max Verstappen. This is race result. Max Verstappen there. 2, Lando Norris. 3, Oscar Piastri. 4th place, Lewis Hamilton. 5th place, Alexander Albon. Charles Leclerc in 6th. Let me just bring this ball closer. Charles Leclerc in 6th place. George Russell 7th place. Carlos Sainz in 8th place. 9th place, Isack Hadjar. 10th place, Yuki Tsunoda. 11th place, Fernando Alonso. Very good weekend for him. He could have been in the points, just missed out on the points at the end. Very good in qualifying as well, getting the medium tires on. Very clever for the Aston Martin. 12th place, Nico Hülkenberg. 13th place, Pierre Gasly. 14th place, Liam Lawson. 15th place, Lance Stroll. 16th place, Franco Colapinto. 17th, Oliver Bierman. 18th place, Gabriel Bortoletti. And the 2 DNSs, Kimi Antonelli and Esteban Ocon. It's a shame for Kimi Antonelli. It was in his home race as well. His home race, coming in on his home race. Had all his friends there, and it didn't work out for him. So let's do the driver's standing. As we see at the top, Oscar Piastri in first with 146 points. Lando Norris in second with 133 points. And behind him with 124 points, Max Verstappen. So if you look at it, Oscar Piastri still got a good lead. This is what I was saying about his lead is still good for Max Verstappen. He's got over 20 points above Max Verstappen. Over 20 points above Max Verstappen. 22 points actually above Max Verstappen. So we still got a decent lead, but I would have kept Oscar Piastri in front. I wouldn't have changed them. I would have just kept them the way it was, but that's McLaren. They know more than us. George Russell in 4th place in 99 points. And 5th place, Charles Leclerc with 61. Lewis Hamilton in 6th place, 53. He was getting a few points on his teammate, Lewis Hamilton. Like the same Formula 1. The first person you beat is your teammate. Kimi Antonelli in 7th place with 48 points. 8th place, Alexander Albon in 40 points. He's doing well, he is. Albon.
Yeah,
9th place, Esteban Ocon with 14. Lance Stroll, 14 points. 11th place, Carlos Sainz with 11 points. 12th place, Yuki Tsunoda, 10 points. 13th place, Pierre Gasly with 7 points. Isack Hadjar in 14th place is 7 points. Nico Hülkenberg in 15th place, 6 points. And 16th place, Oliver Bierman with 6 points. 17th place, Fernando Alonso, no points. Liam Lawson, no points. Jack Doohan, no points. Gabriel Bortoletti, no points. And Franco.
He was really, really unlucky for Lando to finish with no points today.
Yeah, with no points. I was about to say that, yeah. Because look where he finished 11th, isn't it? Could have got points, but it didn't work out for him.
He's the unluckiest driver in the world on the radio. That was fun.
Yeah, he is. Probably he is. So the driving, the team that you see, McLaren on top, they're basically going to win the constructors. McLaren on top, 279. I know there's a lot of races to go, but they're going to take some beating. When they start getting off these stupid tracks where they can't overtake, then you're going to start seeing the true speed like you did last week, 2 weeks ago. Second, Mercedes 147. Third, Red Bull with 131. Ferrari in 4th place, 114. 5th place, Williams, 151. 6th place, Haas, 20 points. 7th place, Aston Martin, 14th. 8th place, Racing Red Bull Honda with 10 points. 9th place, Alpine with 7 points. And Sauber with 7 points. So that's it, man. That's the standings of the F1 weekend. There you go. I don't know why you're on there, but you're on there. So yeah, that's it then. So Toto. Next week, we have Monaco. And we know Monaco. We're gonna talk about this in the Flaming Tarmac. But you know, what's your thoughts gonna be on Monaco briefly? Because we'll talk about it more in the Flaming Tarmac on Friday.
I think it'd be very, very boring. Just a track that needs to be scrapped, I think, for these modern day cars. I know it's a historic track and all that. For these modern day cars, that has to be scrapped. Because if you think about the width of the cars, the size of the cars, it's too wide for this track. Like, there's only one overtaking opportunity is maybe the main straight or under the bridge section, but even that can get tight. And if someone goes for an overtake, it's usually collision. 70% of the time, maybe. But yeah, it's going to be a very boring weekend. No overtakes. It's just going to be a battle of the pits. Battle of the pits, and qualifying. What we need to keep an eye out for, because the race is going to be absolutely diabolical, unless something happens in the pit lane. Unless McLaren messes up in the pit lane, or Red Bull messes up in the pit lane, or Mercedes messes up in the pit lane. That's the only time we're going to see some sort of action. This is a safety car or whatever. But again, there can be no overtakes there. So whoever gets qualifying is probably going to be the winner. So hopefully Lando gets the quali, or Piastri gets the quali. And then we can go from there. Yeah,
that's it. You're right. You're deadly right, man. So, yeah, this video, I don't think it's on your channel. I'm going to put it up on your channel, and I'll download it and then put it on upload it to the channel. But yeah, that's it, man. That's the end of the weekend of Emilia-Romagna. I'll just call it Imola. It's just easier to say, really. You know, round 7 F1 2025 Emilia-Romagna / Imola Grand Prix race weekend review. Toto, you've been great on the analysis. I'm sorry if I was a bit slow today. I was basically doing some more thumbnails for the next live stream I'm about to do. Yeah. So I was a bit like, I was distracted. But you took the fort today, man. Big up to you. Done well today. Great with your analysis. Yeah, much better than it was a year ago. Obviously, I was better than I was years ago as well. But you've done really good. And I'm glad this is your channel as well. And when it comes to analysis, you're very good, man. You took the ball, man, and you just went with it. Big up to you, bro. Big up to you. Anything coming up? Anything coming up on both channels? Yeah, we've got. I'm doing a watch along now. It's actually started now, but I'm going to do a watch along. The game started. Oh yeah. But we've also got some stuff coming on this week as well. But we're on WhatsApp. You follow us on WhatsApp, and anything what comes up, we'll put it up there so you'll see it as well. But yeah, man, tomorrow we'll probably do something. Because we've got the Liverpool game tomorrow as well. The Liverpool watch along game tomorrow. So we're doing that, and we'll probably do the review on Tuesday. Yeah, that's it, really, man. Big up to everybody. So Toto, anything to say? Oh yeah, I'm streaming as well later on my Twitch show. It's Solo_P1. Solo_P1. That's my Twitch. So I'll be streaming on Twitch. Solo_P1. What I'll do, I'm going to get the link so you can follow me on Twitch. I think my man's on Twitch as well. So just follow me on Twitch. Playing? Huh? You playing? I'm playing F1.
Oh, I'm not joining this, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm playing F1. Standard. Where's my what I put in Twitch here? There you go. Yeah, we're going to get my Twitch channel. I'm going to put it in the channel so you mans can see it.
All F1 is a car and just turn one. That's all it is.
Yeah. The race was, this race today, it was over in turn 1. As soon as that turn 1 happened, yeah, and he got that corner, it was over. That's my Twitch channel. There you go. Twitch, because you can't overtake. See, there's another track, yeah. Oh, you play F1, there you go. That's my Twitch. Follow me on Twitch, Waniak. We're going on later. So we're playing F1 later on Twitch as well. Toto, you got your Twitch, you want to give it him as well?
Yeah, I got. I think he's already.
He's already got his Twitch, has he? Anyway. All right, and so big up to you, man.
He was in my Twitch before, so he's probably got my Twitch, to be fair. So
there you go. So big up to everybody. Let's get the video up and we'll go. See you later, guys. See you soon. Bye. Where's my video? It'll always delay. There you go. See you later, guys. Big up to you. Big up to everyone. See you later, guys. Bye.